Ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about something completely different that I've never talked about before. Instead of talking about developers' games, I'm going to be talking about the developers themselves. Today, we're talking about Roblox game developers as the 7 Deadly Sins. I'm not talking about Meliodas or Bond or the 7 Deadly Sins anime. I'm talking about the actual 7 Deadly Sins. That includes pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. So I'm going to be picking one developer for each of the 7 Deadly Sins and assigning them to the sin which I think they embody the most. Before I start this video, I just want to say a quick disclaimer. I've never developed a game in my life. I have respect for these developers because they actually work, and I don't, at least not on games. So I just want to say to every developer who's watching this video and every YouTuber who has friends who are in this video, please do not get mad at me. This video is just a joke and for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to be exaggerating the developers' actions and everything that they do, but in every joke there's a little bit of truth. So stay tuned, we'll see what happens. Now, for the first sin, I'm going to be talking about the most grave and possibly most deadly sin ever. Greed. Greed is very common in the developer community. A lot of developers, especially now, are making games for the sole purpose of making money. Now, this is not a bad thing. If I was a developer, I'd be looking to make some money out of it too. But a lot of these developers are getting out of hand. The sin of greed is described as the disordered love of riches. The developer I'm going to be picking for this category is going to be a developer who is obsessed with money. I'm not saying the developer doesn't care about the player base, but the developer definitely has money as its top priority when making a game. For this sin, it's actually not just one developer, it's multiple. The developers that fit this category the most are the Roblox devs. Not only did they put tons and tons of cash grabs in their game, and not only do these cash grabs increase with every single update, the cash grabs started to get to other games as well. For example, like Haze Piece. So tons and tons of developers are doing the exact same thing as Roblox and putting tons of cash grab into their game. For example, if we look over at the Roblox game and we go to its player base, we see that it has around 500,000 players daily. In some of the updates, the player count is reaching in the millions. It has tons and tons of people playing the game every single day. 5 million likes and tons and tons and tons of little kids with their mom's credit cards swiping away and getting whatever fruit they want. A lot of Roblox players don't know this, but Roblox is actually based off the popular anime One Piece. In One Piece, I've never seen Ace whip out his credit card and get the flame fruit. Nor have I ever seen Luffy pull out a credit card or a couple dollar bills and get the Gum Gun fruit. I've never seen Zoro pay money to get his swords. And I definitely didn't see Mihawk paying 1,200 Robux for him to get his Dark Blade. So why when I join Roblox and I want to get the rubber fruit, I have to pay for it? That doesn't make sense to me. Obviously there's other ways to get it, but little kids who are hopping on the game, as soon as they see that fruit and they see showcases of it and other people having it, what are they going to do? They're going to want it too. Tons and tons of people are going to hop into the game and want the best fruits because they can't get them because their spawn rate is too low, and their chances of getting them from spinning at that stupid fruit gacha, whatever it's called, is extremely low. So what are they going to do? They're going to reach the ultimate conclusion that the only way to get this fruit is to whip out their mom's credit card and pay for it themselves. You want the flame fruit? You got it. The ice fruit? You got it. The dragon fruit? You got it. The new kitsune fruit that costs 4,000 Robux? You can buy it at level 1 with no XP on the game and no hours on the game. You know why? Because the developers want the bag. They want the money. I can't even blame them, because guess what? Having money is not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like it gets to a point where it's weird trying to make that much money off of little kids. But this is just my opinion. If you like block shoots, that's fine. I used to like block shoots. I think I'm level 1,800 on that game, but I stopped playing because I realized that the developers are money hungry. They put bandit beating all over the game. They put tons and tons of cash grab elements all over the game. And honestly, in my opinion, I just don't think the game is good enough for me to play. From a personal standpoint, I really don't mess with the idea of putting that much cash grab in your game. If you want fruits in the game, that's fine. If you have to spam for fruits, that's okay. But I feel like the idea of being able to immediately buy those fruits is pretty stupid. Here's another thing. You can buy unlimited money in this game. If you open up the shop, you can buy as much money as you want and that money can get you tons of different things. They should have kept it where you only get money from doing quests or other things in the game. In Bloxfruits, you can do lots of different stuff with your money. You can buy fruits from right out of the shop, and you can also use it to spin at the fruit gacha and gamble your money away until you get the new Kitsune fruit. Another thing that people are spending their money on is fighting styles and other things like observation hockey and observation v2. If you're able to just go right to the item shop and buy the money right out of there, there's no point in having any quests or any types of things in the game where you can get money from. I'm gonna ask a question. If you put someone on Bloxfruits with no credit card and allow them to get to max level, and they're achieving everything that they need to get for no price, and then put them up against somebody who has a credit card and buys everything that they need, including the strongest fruit in the game, tons of money so they can get the best fighting style, observation v2, and tons of other stuff, who's gonna win in a 1v1? It doesn't come down to skill anymore. At this point, it comes down to whoever paid the most. Whoever whips out their credit card faster in Bloxfruits immediately wins. Unfortunately, that's just how Bloxfruits works. That's why I picked these developers for the description of the sin of greed. This is just my opinion, so if you disagree, that's okay. But please, do not get mad at me. This is just my opinion. I'm gonna go into the next sin now, which is pride. Pride is another sin that's pretty prominent in the developer community. Tons of developers have tons of pride about their game, thinking that their game is gonna be the best on the platform. Although a lot of them are just hyping up their game so that people can play it, and others are just saying it so that their videos can get views on the game and that the game can actually, do well when it first drops. Pride can be described as excessive love in one's own excellence, and this can be applied to their works, wealth, and status. The developer who perfectly, in my opinion, fits this status is Axor. I don't know if you know, but a little while ago, Axor hopped on Twitter and decided it would be a good idea to talk about other people's games. Now, talking about other people's games is never really a bad thing if you know how to back it up. Pause. I'm not talking about that type of back it up. I'm talking about making a game that's going to be better than other people's games that you're talking about. I feel like talking about other people's games can be kind of toxic in a way. If I'm being 100% honest, if you have a game that's just genuinely better than that person's game and you're talking about their game, it's not that big of a problem. Axor does not fit this description at all. He dropped a terrible game, and the game was horrible. In fact, it's probably the worst game I've played besides One Piece New Dreams. If Axor kept quiet about his game and didn't say anything and dropped it, it would have been just like every other game. People would have said it was trash and hopped off. But people didn't let this slide because Axor decided it would be a good idea to talk about RELL Cs. Now, of course, I had no idea about his game until he started to talk about RELL Cs. So I immediately assumed that he had to be cooking up an amazing game because he was talking so badly about other people's games. But I was wrong, and so was he. Axor's game was complete garbage and a waste of my time. I hopped on his game and I haven't left the first island since the game came out. Honestly, I'd rather play Bloxfruits. Even though I ranted about it for almost 5 minutes, I still would rather play Bloxfruits 10 times than play Axor's game once. The game also had cash grab elements in it and bandit beater elements. I wonder where that came from. Bloxfruits. This is why both of these games are just disgusting to me. Don't let this fool you. I have respect for Axor because he makes a lot of quality content as far as YouTube videos, not games. As I said in my other video, YouTubers, unless you're Ghost in the Cosmos, please stick to YouTubing. Do not start deving unless you know what you're doing. Axor did not know what he was doing. He made that game and it was trash. And the reason why I put him as pride is because he had excessive love in his own work. Honestly, it was very, very bad. And everyone agreed. Well, not everyone, but like 90% of the people who played that game agreed that it was garbage. If you're going to talk about other people's games, make sure that the game you're dropping is either just as good or better. Please do not talk about other people's games and proceed to drop a game like Fruit Warriors. Again, back in my Bloxfruits days, I watched Axor all the time because he had quality Bloxfruits content. But unfortunately, the quality of his content does not match the quality of the game that he dropped. And it absolutely does not reflect his attitude towards other people's games. That's why I picked Axor for the sin of pride. Next, sloth. Sloth can be described in many different ways, but the perfect word for sloth is laziness. Now, developing is not easy. I don't want you guys to think that developers should be dropping updates every week, but developers definitely need to drop more updates. Oftentimes, developers tend to drop updates, take the money that they got from the update, leave, spend it, and then come back when they need some more. I guess the perfect example of this would be FOU. Now, I have a respect for FOU, GPO, and the GPO devs. The reason why is because GPO actually takes skill, and it's not a complete cash grab game yet. I play GPO a lot, and I actually got to max level in the game. But one thing I hate about GPO is the quality of the updates. The updates don't have specific drop time. Oftentimes when the updates drop, they'll be several months after the last. Unfortunately, GPO updates do not match the quality of the wait time that was experienced. A lot of the players who play GPO agree on this. A lot of times, updates drop and we wait for the next update to drop. It comes out maybe 4, maybe 5 months later, and the update turns out being really, really bad. At least, not on par with the last update. If I'm being 100% honest, the update that dropped recently wasn't that bad. In fact, it was actually pretty decent, but the wait time was still a little bit too long for me for the quality of that update. The update seemed like a mini update, and the main part of it was the Impel Down raid, and that's pretty much it. The update included, I think, 1 new fruit, I think 1 new fighting style, and some other things too. I'm not gonna lie, the update wasn't horrible, but it definitely was not that great. It was pretty mid, and GPO is now down to around 6,000 to 7,000 players daily. Foyu doesn't perfectly fit this description, because every once in a while he does update his game, but he was the closest person I could find to being lazy and not updating his game as much as other developers do, or at least not as much as he should. I feel like the update quality should definitely depend on the amount of time that he's not been updating the game. For example, if he leaves for 5 to 6 months and drops another update, I feel like the update should reflect on the amount of months taken to drop the update. I don't expect him to be in Roblox Studio every hour of the day because he's a developer, but he's also a human. He has to do things outside of Roblox Studio and outside of Roblox in general. But I feel like as a developer, he should definitely make sure that he's not being too lazy and make sure the game is being updated to its best possible potential. And Foyu has not been doing that, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, that's why I picked him for the Sin of Sloth. Next, I'm going to be talking about envy. Envy can be described as an excessive want or need for something that somebody else has and the desire to have it for themselves. This can also just be called jealousy. For this sin, I picked the Blade Ball developers. Blade Ball is an extremely popular game on Roblox. It has over 100,000 players daily, 5 million favorites, and 2.5 billion visits. It was released this year during the summer and blew up a lot since then. It quickly grew in fame and popularity due to social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube. People saw many different clips from the game that looked very exciting to play and decided to hop on for themselves. Blade Ball isn't a bad game, and from what I know, the developers are not bad people. But I can say this, there was a game that came out before Blade Ball that was the exact same as it. The game was called Deflect. Blade Ball came out way after Deflect. Deflect was thought of first and published first. I really don't think it's likely that the developers of Blade Ball had the exact same idea that Deflect had and didn't know their game was already out. It seems to me like the developers of Blade Ball saw the potential that Deflect had and took it for themselves. Deflect was made by Unbound Interactive and sits at about 40 to 50 players daily. I'm not sure if the game still gets updated, but if it does, then it's very subtle. There's tons of different games on Roblox that copy Deflect as well and copy Blade Ball, like Anime Ball, Soccer Ball, Punch Ball. And there's also another one that's very successful. It's called Death Ball, which averages around 28,000 players daily. This isn't a perfect example of jealousy or envy, but this is as close as I can get. The developers clearly saw the potential in Deflect, use it for themselves and for their own personal gain. I feel like if you see someone else or something else going well and you take it for yourself and use it for your own monetary gain, that's as close as you can get to jealousy and envy. Next, I'm going to be talking about the sin of gluttony. Gluttony can be associated with overeating, overdrinking, and overall just overconsumption. But I'm going to be focusing mostly on the overconsumption portion because I do not know the eating habits and drinking habits of most developers. So for the overconsumption portion, I'm going to be talking about money and a developer who's kind of like money hungry. So this is kind of like greed part 2. For gluttony, I'm going to be talking about the boss. Now, the boss is a perfect example of putting cash grab in your games, and I feel like this is one of the effects of Blox Fruits and the Blox Fruits developers. One example of a game that I absolutely despise is a One Piece game. One of the reasons why I don't like this game is taking a look at the game passes. You can see tons of things that should be available in game and tons of things that should not even be in the game. Conqueror's Hockey, Game Pass. Mihawk Sword, Game Pass. Goku, Game Pass. Like what? Where did Goku come from? Aizen, Game Pass. Snake Man, Game Pass for 3,799 Robux. Chainsaw Man, Game Pass. Naruto, Game Pass. Shanks Sword, Game Pass. Easter Bunny, Game Pass. Tons and tons of Game Passes that are absolutely irrelevant to the gameplay, and tons of Game Passes that are absolutely insane for gameplay, like Conqueror's Hockey. Here's what I need one of y'all to do. Go through One Piece and go ahead and find me the episode and send me a clip of where Luffy pays for his Conqueror's Hockey for 2,299 Robux. If you could do that, I'll send you the amount and you can do whatever you want with it. Or send me a clip where Mihawk paid for his coffin boat for 375 Robux. Also, show me the episode where Aizen showed up in One Piece too. Show me that one too. I don't understand this. Why is it that so many of these things in games cost Robux outside of the game? Like, as a level 1, you can buy the teleportation game pass and the Gear 5 game pass. Like, imagine having Gear 5 at level 1. Does this make sense to you? Conquer's Hockey at level 1. None of this stuff makes sense. Gojo, teleportation, Ichigo, I don't understand any of this, honestly. Again, as I said before, I have respect for the boss. I do not have respect for this game. I hate this game. In fact, I hate this game more than a lot of other games. Actually, I think I dislike this game more than Blox Fruits. I'm gonna be honest, this game is not the game for me. If you enjoy this game, that's fine. I don't dislike the boss. I feel like he has some great development, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's not for me. If you guys enjoyed the game, that's great. Keep on playing this game. Keep on liking it. Keep on favoring it, whatever. Do whatever you want in the game. But me, I'm staying away from it because I don't mess with this type of stuff. These game passes, especially the Conquer's Hockey game pass for 2,299 Robux, 2,300 Robux for Conquer's Hockey, it's blasphemous. Speaking of blasphemy, let's move on to the next sin. Wrath. Wrath is basically like uncontrolled anger or like just excessive amounts of hatred, want for revenge, and kind of like just being toxic in general. I preserved this spot for the Grand Kaisen developers. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but Grand Kaisen actually dropped. Now, I was in the Discord server for a while. I'm thinking this game's about to be fire because I'm looking at the sneaks and I'm looking at all the, all the effects and VFX animations and everything. It looks nice. But when this game dropped, it was garbage. In fact, I say it was probably the worst game of 2023, even worse than One Piece New Dreams and Pixel Piece. I have to apologize to those developers because Wisteria 2, One Piece New Dreams, Pixel Piece were peak compared to this one. I'm not gonna lie, this game was the worst game of 2023, and it was actually so disappointing because it looked really, really good, and I was really hyping it up. I even made a video about it, and I talked about it, and I didn't say the game was gonna be good, but I asked you guys, what do you think about the game? Do you think it's gonna continue the cycle of Project Mugetsu, Project Slayers, and just be a bandit beating trash game? Or do you think it's actually going to break the cycle? Neither one of the options were right. It didn't continue the cycle of bandit beating, and it definitely wasn't good. You know what it did? It created a whole new category. Instead of bandit beating, and instead of being an actual good game, it made a new category of games called bandit finding. In this type of game, we have to search around the map that's completely bugged out with floating rocks and trees to look for bandits. Now I know what you're thinking. How is this displaying wrath? Well, let me tell you something. Now, this YouTuber named Corgi actually posted a screenshot on Twitter about what happened between him and the devs after the game dropped. The developers scammed a lot of people and started talking about the money that they made off of release of the game, even though the release was not good. They apologized publicly in their Discord server, but I guess in their private own chat, they were talking about how much money they made and didn't actually care that they scammed thousands of people. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up on the screen. As we can see, Corgi's talking to Rev, and this is a very disgusting conversation. I mean, take a look at this. Rev clearly apologized for the game being trash and buggy, but guess what he does here? I guess Corgi was trying to talk to him about how the game was like buggy and needed more testing, and Rev said, at least I'm not broke, and showed his pending Robux and showed him that he's actually going to be receiving a lot of the payment that a lot of people spent on the game. And Corgi said, flexing 10k USD, then Rev said, 10k USD in half an hour? Yeah. Corgi then said, no one is booting up this game after release. Rev said, no problem. Too bad you won't be there for it. I'll miss you. Corgi said, oh darn, are you gonna ban me? And Rev banned him. I'm not gonna lie, this is very, very weird. Corgi did nothing wrong. Rev got exposed for his weird behavior and scamming thousands of people, and he doesn't care. Now this sort of displays greed a little bit, but mostly this displays wrath, because this dude is just being weird and scamming tons of people and then bragging about it. I don't know if he's really upset. All I know is that he's definitely taking out his anger on people like Corgi who are doing absolutely nothing wrong. This is another YouTuber by the name of Dream Chaser who just hit 10k subscribers, so shout out to him. He's one of my big inspirations. Basically, he was live streaming yesterday, and as soon as I went on the live stream, I saw this crazy message and had to take a screenshot. Basically, it's a screenshot between a conversation with Corgi and Sean, one of the developers of the game. Basically, Corgi said, your game is butt, and Sean said, thanks for the free promo. Made enough today to put your whole family on a plantation. Now, I thought it was just one of the developers, but turns out both of the developers are very weird, and both teamed up on Corgi to talk to him crazy about the game after it was released. They said they were sorry, but clearly weren't because they flexed the 10k, and also they talked about some other stuff like putting Corgi's family on a plantation. Sounds to me like some edgy, vengeful kind of behavior. Pretty childish, very weird, and I'm not gonna lie, As developers, you gotta be more professional than this. And yeah, that's why I picked them for the sin of wrath. Next, I'm gonna be talking about the sin of lust. I saved this sin for last because it took me a while to actually find a developer that fits this category. But yeah, I finally found one. Lust can be a bunch of different things that has to do with, you know, desire for like pleasure. And basically, this sin can be very, very, very dangerous. I'm going to be talking about this developer whose name is Yakuza. I did a little bit of digging to find out who would fit this category the best, and I decided that it's going to be this developer named Yakuza, who got exposed a little while ago for talking to a person who was underage. So basically, I was watching this AG4 video, and Yakuza was apparently this developer who kind of like got exposed for talking to someone who was underage. And it's kind of the situation's a bit messy, let's just say that. So basically, Yakuza got exposed for talking to a 15-year-old girl in a very strange way, and I'm not gonna lie, this is very, very weird, and it's disgusting to see. I'm not gonna put most of the screenshots up on the screen, but I'm gonna put some, at least the ones that I can the ones that won't get me taken down. Apparently, he said a 15-year-old looks visually appealing, let's just say that. And basically, his defense for saying what he said was, she looks 25. That's why I said what I said. Put him behind bars. Lock him up with EDP and R. Kelly and all of them. I'm not gonna lie. I looked through the comments of AG4's video, and tons of people said the same thing I'm saying. Lock him up. This is the curse of Roblox developing. Tons of people said the same things I'm saying, and I'm not gonna lie, they're all right. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the sins, and that's all the developers I wanted to put in the video. Before I end the video, I just want to say one more thing. Please don't hate on the developers. Pretty sure they put in a lot of hard work into their games, and you know they wouldn't want a lot of people hating on them. So yeah, hating on them is not right. Also, please do not think that I'm hating on these developers either, because I like all these developers. Yakuza, I don't know, he's a little strange, but all the other developers I mess with, you know what I'm saying? So please do not think that I'm doing this because I don't like them or because I hate them. I'm doing this just for entertainment purposes, for jokes, for laughs or whatever, and I thought it would be a good video idea. So yeah, if y'all like the video, go ahead and hit the like button and the subscription. I'm not gonna lie, I make other videos, not videos like this that much, but if you guys want me to do more like this, then I can definitely do that. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. If you enjoyed, and again, hit the like and sub, hit the notification bell so you can get notifications as soon as a new video drops. And that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all in the next one.